Okay, good morning, Algebra students, and welcome to reviewing our 3-7, solving absolute value equations and inequalities. Here's Bellwork for today, and then you will do a review of this lesson. So let's start with this first question here. The absolute value of 5x minus 15 is equal to 205. First of all, I want you to notice that it is an equal sign, not an inequality. And so that's super important for when we're graphing and solving these to get that correct. So if you have absolute value and you've got an equal sign here, what you need to do to solve this is you're going to want to split them up into solving for one side just as is here. So 5x minus 15 equals 205. And the other side we're going to solve for is we're going to make that answer, the 205, negative. So 5x minus 15 equal negative 205. Okay, so we're going to solve each of these. We're going to add 15 to both sides here. So we get 5x equal 220. And then we're going to add 15 here to both sides. Only this time we'll get 5x equal 190 right here. Okay, and then the second step for both of them is going to be to divide by 5 on both sides. And so just make sure, use your calculator here. All right, so we're going to divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here, and 220 divided by 5 gives us 44 is one of our answers. So x equal 44. If I divide by 5 here and divide by 5 on this side, 190 divided by 5, we get 38. Okay, and so the thing is, we don't want to leave our answer that way. So also we're asked to graph it, which I did not provide enough space for myself, so I'm going to put my graph up here. If you're asked to graph it and it's an equal sign, all you have to do is make sure you have your two answers on here, right? So we need a 44 and a 38. So I'm going to start here with 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. Okay, and then since it's an equal sign, we literally just put a dot on 44 and close it, and a dot on 38 and close it, and that is our graph. And so our answer, there's our graph, and our answer is x equal 44 and x equals 38. Okay, and that's how we do it if we are looking to answer an absolute value equation. Okay, the next one, is going to be an inequality. Now we have an absolute value inequality here. We're going to set this up very similar where we're going to split it, but there is a small difference here. So we're going to start this with negative 9x plus 3 is less than or equal to 60 as is. And then when we solve the other side, or we set up the other side, negative 9x plus 3, and then we're going to flip the inequality and make this one negative this time. So that's super important to remember that. And we're going to solve each. So we're going to start by subtracting 3 from both sides. So negative 9x is less than or equal to 57. All right, and then we'll subtract here and subtract here. Negative 9x is greater than or equal to negative 63. Okay, and then what we're going to do is divide both sides by 9. Okay, so we're going to do, by negative 9, not by 9. So we got to flip that inequality now the other way around. So 57 divided by negative 9 is negative 6.3. Repeating on this side is what we get. X is greater than or equal to negative 6.3. When we divide by negative 9 on this side, again, we're going to flip it. X is now less than or equal to negative 63 divided by negative 9, 7. Okay, and so that is not how we're going to write our answer. We have to graph this one first to make sure that we do this correctly now, because we don't know if this is an and or an or. All right, so what we want to do is we want to make our number line. This number line isn't too bad. We have to have a negative 6.3 and 7 on it. This one is a decimal, so we want to go beyond that. So we want to go from -7 then to +7 here. So -7, -6, -5, -4. I'm probably going to need more space. 1, 2, yep, of course, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all the way out. Okay, what we need to do is start with whichever inequality you would rather start with. It doesn't matter. I'm going to start with the -6.3 here. That's going to be a closed circle. I got to estimate where that is. It's closer to the 6. And that arrow is going to be pointing to the right. Okay. And this one, x is less than -7, so we're going to put, or +7, I'm sorry, put that on there. And we're closing both of these circles. And that one's going to point to our left. And so you can see that this is going to connect. So there's our correct graph, which means this is an and problem, okay? So it is an and problem. We can write the word and between here, and this is technically correct for an answer for our inequality. However, we want to get used to doing it like this, where we put -6.3, that's our lower limit. 7 is our upper limit. Put x in the middle and look at what they're doing. On the -6.3 inequality, it is eating the x. And on the 7 inequality, it's eating the 7. And this would be the compound inequality we'd be looking for. Okay, last one. Now, these are generally ones that students forget about, so super important to go over this. Remember that like an absolute value sign here is kind of like a parenthesis, and so you want to treat it as such when you are solving these, okay? So what we want to do first here is get rid of everything that's not in the absolute value sign and undo that. So this is a dividing by 2. Our first step here is going to be to multiply by 2 here to get rid of it and multiply by 2 here. And then we have absolute value of 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 10. Now we can move on to solving it like we solved the one above here. So now we can split it up. We've got 3x plus 2 is greater than or equal to +10. And then our other one is 3x plus 2 is less than or equal to -10. Got to flip that inequality. All right, let's solve. We want to subtract 2 from both sides on both of them. All right, so 3x is greater than or equal to 8. And then this one, 3x is less than or equal to -12. We want to divide by 3 on both sides. X is greater than or equal to 2 2/3 or 2.6 repeating here. If you divide by 3 here, x is less than or equal to -4. Okay, so there are our answers. Technically, we need to graph them to see if it's and or an or. All right, let's go. So we need to make our lower limit be at least -4 here. And our upper limit is a decimal. We want to go above that and make it 3. So here, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, let's do this one first. X is greater than or equal to 2.6 repeating. So let's estimate that. That's going to be closer to the 3. It's going to be closed. And that is going to point to our right. See the arrow pointing right? This one, x is less than or equal to -4. So we're going to close that one. And that one's going to point to the left. So these are pointing outwards. So in this case, you simply have to put the word or between them and circle it. If you want to be technically better correct, you want to put the lower limit first. So x is less than or equal to -4, or x is greater than or equal to 2.6 repeating. Okay, hopefully you found that to be a helpful review for you and to help you out on your assignment today. Good luck. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me.